Hi guys, it's Al the Spiritual Atheist back once again. Before we get started tonight, I want to publicly thank Robin for her kind words and thoughts. It was very, very generous of her, and she is one of the more remarkable people that has been my pleasure to know, at least as much as we can in this medium. But I think I would like to deal with this cancer thing a bit tonight, a little bit. Uh, it's really not a big deal. When I was young, I worked in a cancer hospital, and I know people who are fighting breast cancer and brain cancer and things like this, and those people are heroic. They truly are heroic. There's nothing heroic about what I'm doing. I mean, and I'm not modest. There's nothing heroic about what I'm doing. We've had the surgery. The tumors are out. Now what we're doing is removing the lining of the bladder, and to do that, I show up Mondays at 11:30. I go into the office. I urinate into a cup. They test it to see if I'm infected. Come back into an exam room, drop my pants. A nurse comes in, grabs hold of my penis, and tries to fill the urethra with Novocaine, which is followed by a rather unpleasant tube that run up the urethra to the bladder. When that's in, it's they feed 50 milliliters of a solution of a genetically altered tuberculosis bacteria that doesn't carry the tuberculosis disease, but rather feeds on the lining of the bladder. And that's in the first week I did have some side effects, some flu symptoms, mild flu symptoms, and this week nothing. And like 4 more of these sessions and we're done. It's I guess one of the worst side effects is, of course, you don't stick tubes up your urethra without making scratches, and urinating over those scratches is not pleasant. But it ain't breast cancer. It's not, it's not in that league at all. And so, I mean, let's just put it into perspective. There's nothing heroic about letting the nurse grab your joint and shove a tube up it. I mean, it may not be pleasant, but it's not heroic. I got a comment from a user named Modesty Bland. Sort of, the name reminds me of Modesty Blaze. I guess that shows my age. If anybody gets the connection, not the movie, but the comic book was just incredible. In any case, he says that in his 30 years of study, which is significant, that he's probably studied Buddhism longer than many of you have been alive. He had never heard of the book that I use, and while he didn't come out and say that he doubted its authenticity, he, obviously he hadn't heard of it, which is, there's a lot of books around. And, maybe what my information as to the nature of the various hells was not interpreted properly, or not understood properly, or maybe not even, presented properly. So I went and I picked up out of my library this book. It's called The Jewel Ornament of Liberation by Gampopa. Hopefully he's heard of this one. The thing about this is a very special book. It covers in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, from conception to Buddhahood, and is sort of a guide. Gampopa was Milarepa's Dharma heir and disciple. I got this book back in 1971, and I paid at the time for it. If you can see how I do this, can you? $8.50 is what I paid for a hardback book back in 1971, and it is hopefully that he's heard of this book. Page 57, just referring to the hells, I'm just going to point out that it says, and I'm quoting, classification hells means that there are 8 hot and 8 cold ones, totaling 16, to which are added the occasional and neighboring hells, so that there are 18 in all, unquote. The neighboring hell that I was is one that I was describing, and I think it was described appropriately. Now, for the little time we have left, I want to talk about the present moment as a goal or a ideal. And it seems to me, well, I think I can actually say this. I think that the idea, we kind of approach this as something interesting, alien a little bit, not something that we understand, but it sounds good. How do I get from here to here? You know, like that sort of thing. That here and now is someplace that someday I hope to come to. But the truth is that it's not alien to us. We've all experienced it. It's part of our life experience. We come, say as an example, we come upon a sunset and are just overwhelmed by it. And by overwhelmed, I mean that we're not even aware of ourselves. There's just the sunset. It's just that. That's that. And then the moment passes and we become aware of ourselves looking at the sunset, and it's not quite what it was. We might turn to a friend or something and say, "Hey, look at this," but it's past. But it was there, and we find these moments, you know, at many times in our lives, listening to music, having sex. You know, people do it in creating something, maybe playing something. Musicians tell me that they sometimes lose themselves in the music, that the music plays itself. A friend tells me. This is it, man. This is what we have. And what we want is to take these moments and extend them, draw them out. And one of the ways that we can do that is by trying to be more understanding and demanding that stop demanding that we be understood. One of my favorite Christians, St. Francis, prays, help me to understand rather than be understood, or something like that. And you know that we spend so much time explaining ourselves to others who probably aren't all that interested, and we miss the real explanations, the real things that are coming our way. You you know, we have to remember, I found this on the net. I don't know where I got it. If anybody knows, tell me so that I can credit them for it. But somebody commented that with one insignificant exception, the population of the entire universe is made up of others. I love that. Please, if anybody knows, let me know. And I think that'll do it for tonight. Peace, friendship, be kind to yourselves.